I wanted to talk today about developments in the RMB denominated debt market offshore, or commonly known as CNH. I'm delighted that you've recently joined us from a senior in-house position, and I know you've got significant experience in this area. What are some of the developments that you've seen, say, looking back a few years ago from the inception of the market?
Sure. I guess one of the things that we have noticed, and also which is more important to many of the clients, is that there has been some changes in the use of proceeds. In the past, the case has been always that the issuers were trying to repatriate their use of proceeds into PRC to support their Chinese operations. And for now, it has been a little bit switched. And then now, these days, they have more diversification of their use of proceeds. Number one, normally also they still try to repatriate their funds into PLC to support their operations, but also they are trying to refinance their existing debt. For example, Caterpillar refinanced their old CNH deal November this year, and what they did was they issued RMB bonds, and then they paid back their RMB bonds, but they rolled over their shareholder loan given to their PRC operations. And the other option that they are trying to use is to use their RMB proceeds, swap back into US dollars or local currencies so that they can have cheaper fundings. As you understand, RMB is fluctuating these days too, although it is pegged to US dollar. So issuers can try to find some opportunities where they can try to get cheaper funding by using US RMB bonds, but also being swapped into US dollar or their local currencies.
Thank you. Looking at structures of deals, I think it's fair to say from the inception of the market, deals were more straightforward with direct issuance by the corporate or by the bank. Whereas you look at more recent deals, there's been a trend towards more structured transactions, using, for example, keep-well agreements and bank guarantees. Can you talk a little more about the structure of these deals for me, please?
Sure. For example, keep-well structure. Normally, there is a main holding company at the top level based in China, and there could be some other intermediate company sitting in China as well. And then at the bottom, there could be an issuer based in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong company's credit itself isn't enough. It's not enough. So they need to get some support from the parent company. The parent company gives keep-well to the trustee for the bond holders in support of the Hong Kong company and also the support of the intermediate company. So, and that's the typical keep-well structure. And also, sometimes this keep-well structure may not be good enough to give enough support to the investors. Then they can try to get a guarantee from other banks. For example, normally the banks are banks based in, for example, Hong Kong or London. That's the typical structure that we have seen so far.
And if we look at some of the reasons behind the development of these structures, my sense is that we've seen a maturing of the CNH market, a move away from a focus on currency appreciation and more of a focus on the credit profile of the issuers. Is that your understanding, and can you talk a little more about the reasons for these developments?
Absolutely correct. In the past, as you said, many of investors are looking for appreciation play so that they didn't look carefully on the credit quality of the issuers. But these days, the market itself is maturing, and then investors can find other funding or other investor opportunities as well. So they are looking at the credit qualities of the issuers very carefully, and the issuers who have tried to use the keep-well structure and bank guarantees, they don't have a good credit quality. So investors may not like their credits of those companies, and they are trying to come up with this structure so that they can try to use credit enhancement to try to sell their securities to investors. So that's absolutely good point, that we are trying to move away from appreciation play to real credit analysis of the companies.
Thank you. And final question. The most frequent issuers that have come to market have, of course, been Chinese banks. They've come very regularly to the markets over the recent past. What is, from your experience, some of the issues that are confronting these issuers today?
Sure. There could be many issues that the Chinese banking issuers may have, but one of the critical ones which can be important for our banking clients and also the issuers themselves is that some of the Chinese banks have exposures to one of the sanctioned countries, for example, Syria, North Korea, and those companies need to figure out how they can try to address this issue. And also for the investment banking clients, they need to try to address how they can be comfortable with these issues that they have on one of the sanctioned countries. So one of the things that we can try to recommend to our banking clients is that they can try to strengthen their reps and warranties in the subscription agreements, and also they can try to have a stronger due diligence session for the issuers.
Thank you very much, Jay.